We counted the Scottish Nationalist March that was out on the same day as our street stall. And we were actually just round the corner from them. They finished in George Square and we were just round the corner from them. They didn't know we were there, but we wanted to get out on the same day as them, and we also filmed them, and we counted them very precisely at 773 people, and not the 5,000 which they lied about. They're still lying like that. But we are getting our message out as well. And what was always amusing is that picture there you can see is what they looked like as they passed our cameraman. But look at the picture that was used by the Daily Mail actually as it happens. It looks like there's absolutely thousands of them. And how does that happen? And so we wrote this article, Scottish Nationalists and Optical Illusions, and it's a really important piece of work, folks. And what we do is we demonstrate that if you have a camera, and it's called a long lens camera, a long focal length camera, then you can stand away from the march, 100 yards, 150 yards away, and your lens, because it's got a long focal length, will zoom in to the tiny wee bit in the distance where you see the marchers coming down the hill, and it will compress the image, and it will make it look like there's thousands. But see that image there that's on the screen at the moment? That looks like it's maybe in 10 or 15 yards. That's at least 150 yards of people compressed. And how do we know that? We know that because in this article, and we'll put the link up, you'll find the link in the comments. We know this because we can look at the actual street furniture and know what those distances are in real life. So let's scroll down because it's all in our thing there. That's the hill they were coming down, okay? Now, you see that's a taxi right there in the middle of the frame, in the middle of the road. Now, that's the front of the march would actually be even below that taxi. Okay, we actually visited this street just a couple of days ago when we were in town to try to figure out where the photographer was standing, but he was standing at least, we believe, 200 yards away from the brow of the hill to take that photograph. Now, there you see, you might not be able to see it clearly, but the distance there between that red no entry sign and that black bin is at least 50 yards in real life, at least 50 yards. I paced it out. The distance between the red pillar box and that black bin is actually 35 yards. Okay, but look at that picture. It looks as if they're right beside each other. So what basically they do there is there's a sparsely populated march, but by taking a photograph with a long focal length lens, you can make it look, you compress the march, and you get this absolute shock of colour that makes it look like an army of thousands coming down the hill, when in fact that's probably only maybe 200 people at the most, spread over at least 150 yards, if not 200 yards. So you get an optical illusion, and they're coming down the hill at a very steep point of the hill as well. And so the photographer has chosen his point well, because of the slope, it looks like the flags are all piled on top of each other. So please spread that article around, folks. It's an important one. It's an important one because it shows how they can get away with all of that nonsense. And make it look like reality is something different than from what it actually is.